a sunny day. It's a beautiful day. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's today, I think yesterday was as well. We've been spoiled with 3 beautiful summers, and I don't want it to end. This is the 4th one coming up, and it's not been showing too much promising at the moment. So welcome, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I tell you what, something just came in at the end, which I thought was quite useful. The old tattoos, exposed tattoos on police officers and things, and whether we think it's Chief Constable, I think Chief Constable Watson, I think his name is. Yeah, he's the new chief for Manchester, Greater Manchester. He is from South Yorkshire, and he just believes that police officers shouldn't have exposed tattoos, and there's a lot of debate about that, isn't there? I've got my own views, and I'm sure you have yours, so it'd be really good to see some of your views as well on that. I think, hi Lynn, you're right. I think the problem has been Manchester. It's been criticised a fair bit because it failed to record 80,000 crimes and things like that. You see, I'd just be cautious about devil's in the detail. And yeah, things obviously haven't gone right. But a lot of the time, I mean, technology in policing is pretty shocking still, you know. And I can say Devon and Cornwall, it's really, we're luckier than a lot of people. And it's been good leadership in Devon and Cornwall, and they've insisted on taser, they've insisted on PDAs. So I was, last April, I would still be using PDAs for P&C checks, tickets, stop search, criming staff, using domestic forms and that side of things. Penny Roberts, hello, how are you? No, well, Penny doesn't have a problem with tats, but not having displayed. Okay, that I think. Do you know what? I could be accused of being a bit old-fashioned here, but I think I ain't got a problem with tats, Danny. I haven't got a problem there. I've grown up in an area where there's been Royal Marines and a lot of Navy and stuff like that. So being in Devon, so you've got Plymouth, you've got Lympstone, and they're the best people. They're best for policing. They've got maturity. They've seen a bit of life. A lot of military now, it's not just going in there shooting. It's a lot of it is working with communities, isn't it? Like Afghanistan and things like that. So it's a lot, and they've got to play by the rules as well, whereas the enemy don't have to play by the rules, of course. So I haven't got any problem with that. I suppose what I would have a problem with is, does it look professional if you've got a tattoo like on the side of the face, up the neck like this? I don't like that. I don't think it's professional. I don't think we've got there yet with as far as making. I don't mind it. You know, if people want to have that off duty and whatever, that's fine. But you can't really cover. Maybe have one of those old ruffles. You know, medieval times. I don't know how you can do it, but it's a little bit. I guess that would look about as intimidating. But you allow everything else nowadays. I remember a guy in Plymouth once, and I was newly promoted sergeant, and I looked at this guy walking by, and he looked like a bag of shite. And he had long hair, and he looked like a skunk, right? And he had like a white line going across there that he dyed. And I went, how is he allowed to get away with that? We've got to challenge that. And he went, don't touch him. No, he's been through the system. It's all about freedom and stuff, and you know, that was a long time ago. And to be honest, it hasn't developed much from there. But you do get some bags of stuff. And you just think, who do you want turning up at your burglary? It's from all walks, you know, because they're not all young and trendy people who wouldn't be intimidated. You are talking about people who do get very anxious, who are elderly maybe, and you get some feisty ones of all of those as well, of course. But, you know, it's is it professional to turn up and you haven't done your hair, your shoes are a mess? And I've got to say this, I don't know this Chief Constable. He was South Yorkshire. He's now with Manchester. He's not going to be social media. Look, you know, fair enough. He doesn't do social media. It is the new media. It's the new talk. It's discussion things. But I can see the pressures behind it and why some people think, you know, it's just not worth it. I get that, but I think it's a mistake to do that, which means that anything in his force is probably shut off as well. To me, that's old-fashioned. That's not bad. The fact he likes polished shoes, his hair tied back. I guess that's men and women. You get away with anything nowadays. I ain't got a problem with that, because I don't know with these. You get a lot of women out there chucking it out there. I'll tell you what, I'm like, I'm going to fend you all off. It's get a lot of women out there who have got their hairs like that, like that, and they've got eyelashes out here, and it just looks awful. Where's the professionalism? Where is that representative of a police service? You know, that you are disciplined service that, you know, is there to provide a service. And cracky, if you want to do that in your spare time, that's great. But a lot of people are so anxious when they're at work. They say, I can't possibly go out without 4 layers of makeup on and eyelashes and all that. And maybe there's a few guys like that now. I don't know. I'm going to move on. So that's fine. Power to them. Good for them. Right. From Bryce Norton, Oxfordshire, Thames Valley Police. Thank you very much. Nice to see you, Mark. Thames Valley, been in the media a lot recently. Good bunch of people. I like Thames Valley. They do all the London stuff without being, you know, the Met. Thames Valley is, I'd imagine it's pretty good in there, because you don't have the trouble with the Met. They have the spotlight on them. Someone moves an arm out of place, it's like, wah, like that. Whereas, every force does to a certain extent. But it's not so much Met. You're like, internationally, you are the British police if you're in the Met, and they struggle with money, because if you think about it, my force, Devon and Cornwall, has got very big numbers. It's 3,000 officers, and then there's another like 2,000 civilians. So we got a vast geographical area. Where in the Met, you've got 30,000 officers. So literally, you want to give everyone a free pen. That's 30,000 pens. That's a lot of money, isn't it? So you could see why the sort of development of equipment and all that is pretty shocking. It is pretty shocking. We've got technology in Devon and Cornwall. It's far superior than the Met. Far superior. Our officers in Devon and Cornwall are far superior. No. I'm allowed to be loyal to them. I've just picked up Daniel's here. I don't know what that is. I do dog until. Okay. I am Daniel. Thank you very much. I am Daniel King. Good, strong surname there. You okay? I am good. I'm good. I like this sun. I've been doing office work for the last 4 weeks. I've got another 4 weeks of office work, and then I'm free. So it's good. I've been called in to help with a certain thing. And it's quite nice. It's quite nice. I've just done, you know, these NCAT or online learning. You might do it in your own private business if you're in the forces or whatever, in the police and whatever. And I've just done 14 of them today. I'll tell you what, I can put out fires. I can deal with data protection. I can spot a terrorist from a mile off, a bomb. I know exactly how far to run. I don't know. Amazing. Good stuff. I'm recovering. So yeah, tattoos. I think it's always going to get into people's minds, and they've got strong feelings about it. I think there's a limit. I think if you look like, it's all over your face and stuff like that, that can be pretty intimidating. I think otherwise, and people say, why should you be intimidating? Because I think those days of arms covered looking intimidating, it doesn't really, because your granny has a tattoo now, doesn't she? I mean, well, she can probably be quite intimidating. So who have we got? We've got, I'm just looking on here. I wanted to show you this one. This is good. I like this. This is Devon and Cornwall. If you follow Devon and Cornwall DC dogs, these are good. See, look, he's just saying this is a police officer. This is what we can do in this part of the world, in the Southwest. I say, all you, the best cops out there, if you want to join Devon and Cornwall Police, this is all we do down here. It's fantastic. So it is, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And basically he's saying that he had a couple of police dogs before, and they used to love all this. And unfortunately, they sort of pass on, and they train new dogs up now, and and they enjoy it just as much, really. So it's really, really lovely to see next generation. Bit sad for the officer though, isn't it? Oh, okay, here we go. Thomas, hi Harry, posted a couple of weeks ago saying I had my interview coming up with Police Scotland. Scary. Anyway, passed the interview. How? Bloody well done. Medical tomorrow. Looking forward to Lillian. Okay, looking forward to Lillian. Great, fantastic, Thomas. Isn't that the best feeling? And then hopefully your medical's all right. You're going to brick yourself on that one, but then you'll get through. That's fantastic. Spoken to quite a few recruits recently. Still as proud a moment as you could possibly have. It's really an amazing accomplishment. So well done to all those. I still say it's a bloody good job. Do it. Go for it. If you only regret the things you don't do. So just apply. And I just say, people say, what advice do you give? And I said, well, first of all, be yourself. Use your own skills. Don't just, nick everyone else's skills, but just use your own. You know what you're good at and what you're not so good at. So, but also just, you need that self-preservation, not to take life too seriously. Not when the pressure starts coming up a bit, you need to just let it release. Right. By all means, anyone just chuck in the questions like that. If you've got anything, I just wanted to describe that. You see these on arms. I have mentioned that once before. Those are on the arms on mine. That's my one, OFC, Operational Firearms Commander. That was for team leader firearms. Sergeant, obviously, police. That's to remind myself every now and then that I don't go putting out fires or sticking plasters on people. And the red was my team colour. So I could recognise in a big group who was earlys, lates, if there was an overlap, because we overlap. Because we can't all go back to the station and then de-kit and then kit up with the next one, because the criminals will get a good idea about that, won't they? Yeah, so that's Penny. Penny, have you got any tats, Penny? Do you, Penny? Anyone you want to confess now? Yeah, Jack Knowles. Great rugby player at Exeter Chiefs. I've met him. I've got a photo of me with him, actually. We did some road safety stuff together. And they are brilliant. And Jack Knowles is the most gentle giant until he's on the pitch. And then he's like a tornado coming at you. Yeah, so just sent Mark just sent DM on Twitter. Nice one. I'll catch that later. Fantastic. Tell me, so Police Scotland, Tullian, the Scottish Police Training College is Tullian. Oh, I can imagine your accent saying that. If you are Scottish accent, real strong, broad Scottish accent, that'd be amazing. We obviously have the G7 down in Cornwall. That's going down, St Ives. So if you are Devon and Cornwall and whatever, and you want to know what's going on, look at the Force Facebook site. They do these live question and answer things as well. But that's good. That's showing off Cornwall to the best. It's got, you've got multiple, not world leaders, not only world leaders, but you've got there. When I did VIP protection in London and I did NATO, and so I was armed protection with those guys, and you realize then when you see G7, you think, oh, it's just 7 people. Why don't they Zoom? But actually what they do, all their foreign ministers meet up with each other, and all those little political problems you might have within countries, they sort of get together face to face and they talk about it and sort of build relationships and things. And it's when you think this is some of the most important decisions that have ever been made, post-Brexit, post-COVID, that's bad enough. That's going on, isn't it? How we're going to get the world going again and all that is massively important. So no, it's not a Zoom meeting. Yes, it's expensive to get things going and all this sort of thing. But I think when you think what is at stake, I think it's really, really good. So Thomas, if you Cornish accent, did grow up on a farm, so probably a hot fuzz joke in there somewhere. I was known as the swan liaison officer because I did catch a few swans, usually when they landed on the motorway thinking it was a river and blocked 3 lanes of traffic. So unfortunately, when something did get hit on the motorway, it would just look like an exploded duvet. So it was rare, luckily. Don't like it when that happens. Bit of an animal lover. But so we do what we can. I literally chuck him in the back of the car, get my crewmate to hold him in the back of the car, and we drive to nearby little village and pop him in a river. So that was good. And then I think one came in about 3 days later or something. There was another one. It was like, call Sergeant Tangye, please, because this thing's like, and they're not. They're just like big chickens. You know, you hold their wings like that, hold their wings and hold their head like that, and their neck is it's like bony and tiny, and there's no strength to it. Even their wings, there's no strength to it. Would you ever do a patron page? You'll have to explain that. I'm a bit thick. I don't know what that is. What's a patron page? Explain, AC. Explain what a patron. Am I the only one who doesn't know what a patron page is? And if you're a patron of a charity, then you're there to make money and bring money into the place with contacts and things. I'd have to get some contacts first. So no, I don't know what that is, I'm afraid. If you can, just to remind you of my Twitter page, is there. I've had this for a little while now, and oh look, that was it. I can resist it. Too soon. I decree the sun brings the beer clock forward several hours. Yeah, it's because when you're doing Twitter and all that, you do think, you do sort of think that you don't want negative stuff. It's getting that mix on Twitter so that people don't just get depressed. They don't, you know, because otherwise it's just miserable. You want to escape, do you? And you want to see nice things and hear about nice things. And it's a difficult thing to view. I'd like to know what things you actually like, because I've got lists of like all the really the bits that I'm really interested in, and I look in one place. And if you use lists on Twitter, it saves you having to look through loads and loads of stuff. And you say have one on police dogs, or you can have one on police forces and things like that. A communications expert agent told me, Sophia Chowdhury Khan, and she told me about them. I knew they existed, but I never used them, and now they're brilliant. And you could get really, so if you're into Twitter and that side of things, really look at your lists, and then you can tag on all those you're quite interested in, and then every day you look through theirs. And I've got quite a few lists now, but you can look at police horses and see what's happening in the police horse world, and police dogs and chief constables. You have to look at the boring ones now and then, and then force, and then just interesting people. I've got interesting people, you know. I'm not in there. And then I've got frontline chat guests and associated with guests. So it's really, really good to, and then sometimes you just look and scan through at the other things. But if you haven't read my book, that's a book. I'm going to mention that for 2 seconds. Firearms and Fatals. Look at that, 790 ratings, and it's 4.5 stars out of 5. Beauty. So that's really, and it's on Kindle edition, audiobook, and paperback. That would be really good, but I'm going to go back. Let's just see what is happening. Let's go and explain. So if you see lists, you can see I've got, so those are your general ones, and then you've got lists of ARV and Bluetooth. These are some of the ones that I put Cornwall Live Reporters, Devon and Cornwall Police. So you literally have a look at that, and then I can just see, it's really useful then, just the Devon and Cornwall Police, what they've put on, and these have been retweeted. That's where I got that one. And you can scan down like that. It's always risky doing this live, isn't it, when you think. Frontline chat guests, horses, interest, local media, helicopters. And you just, as you come to some new ones, you could just chuck them in, add the lists, and then you've got all your helicopter ones and things like that. So, yay. Wait. Ta-da. Oh, I won't say the pilot's lucky today. I will just say we were all lucky having the job we do. It is a pretty cool job, and they just fly around like that all the time with big grins on their face. I had a lovely time in Devon, Cornwall just before I left. And how do I get that back? And in the helicopter, and it was just brilliant. I went up there in Exeter, and we flew to a few jobs, and it's like the pilot's like that, and the observer's like that, and it's like, all right, we're looking for a Range Rover, and you're looking down. It looks like a 3D Google map, right? And you're looking down that and you think it's tiny. How can they find? And they go, is that a Range Rover that way? I think, oh no, I think it's too old. I think it's I think you need it's too old, that one. Oh, we'll have a look. And you'd have a look. And then there was a lone officer had made an arrest, and yet he was struggling a little bit. And they just we'll just show him a bit of power. And they flew the helicopter over, so the little scrote, I'm calling that now. Freedom. So the little scrote, he was trying to get out with the officer, and it was just show. I've been in the same position where I caught 3 burglars at Dawlish Warren campsite many years ago, and they sort of, oh no, it's the police, and they've got them in torchlight, and you're saying, and then you say, stay there, police officers, and then there's a pause when they think we can run, and then there's just this torchlight, this 30 million candle way it was. And it just came down, and then they've even got a megaphone, and they were like, oh, okay, I'll give up. And this was Little Dawlish. Dawlish, if you remember, was where the railway line slipped into the water in the storms in Devon. Great little place. And to let you into a bit of a secret, oh no, I have written a book, another novel, and it involves quite a lot of my experiences in Dawlish, but I placed it in Cornwall, where I born and brought up. But Dawlish is where it all came from. You heard it here first. Why did you just please? Right. Okay. Then just bought your book. Oh, great. I see. This is the only thing I feel sorry for you, Thomas, is you have to listen to my voice for 7 hours, I think it is. Just bought your book on Audible as well right now, since you mentioned it. Fantastic. That was risky. I didn't see what you'd actually said. And that could have been embarrassing if you said it was rubbish. What do you think makes good probationary officer? Do you know what? It's a mix. I look around my section and they're all different. There's not a particular type. And the best thing, it's like anything. It's like, if you think about it, it's like inbreeding. You have too many relatives. It's not a good mix. So you want all your odd bods. You want your intel guys, you want your funny guys, you want your fit guys and girls. I say guys are guys and girls. They always have been in our firearms world. And you need that mix. So the whole section is absolutely brilliant there, because then we go, oh, Dan, you're great at bloody intel. Can you do a bit of digging on that? Well, like, yeah. And you think, oh, who's that? Who's that bloke who knows a lot about traffic law? Oh, and it was like, and then they come up with that, and they come up with some stuff, and then we go and hit a town where they're having trouble. That was always fun. Just literally convoy into a town where the little yobs had started abusing the local police and taking the mick. And so we'd turn up and we'd arrest a few people, and it sort of put them off the next time. And we'd do it like 2 or 3 times, and then that sort of everyone disappeared off. They realised it wasn't fun anymore. Do any long range marksmanship? Yeah. Do the police get opportunity to do any long range marksmanship? No, we only have 100 meters, but then that's only necessary. The rifle officers, their quote is, "You may run if you want to, but you'll only die tired." So the rifle officers, snipers, they obviously do, and they have full-on ranges. Take the hat off a gnat at 100 miles. So they do. But I've shot a Glock at 100 meters once. It's remarkably accurate still. It really is amazing. I thought that it would have been like, but it was really, really accurate. I was expecting to have to raise it quite a lot, and I did. I raised it a bit, and it was like 2 foot above, sort of thing. Because remember, at this point, if you're one little hair to the left, and it's like it goes off, it's quite. I think is it like 1 centimeter is like 13 centimeters off target when you get to something at 15 meters or something. Anyway, someone's going to correct me on that. So yeah, they do. But Jed, I was fortunate to fire a fully automatic machine gun as well. We had it, and it was when all the terrorism was done, and it was actually quite useful, because 80 rounds and it went, it was over. So even though terrorists tend to have lots of rounds and things like that, it was the whole point of your opportunity was between magazines, and between magazines were quite regular, because it would be like 3 seconds firing, and then they'd be empty. So that was the opportunity. It was quite interesting, and I realized there was no point in looking down the sight and going, you're better off looking alongside it and seeing where the rounds, in the sand. But cool. Yes, Thomas, I think there's a badge on it. Rifle officers, I think you're referring to. You can run if you want to, but you'll only die tired. Yeah, it is a good one, isn't it? Breaches all virtual signaling. See, that's why I like this guy already, actually. Chief Constable Watson. His quote was, "I don't do virtual signaling." Oh, we need some more of that. Yeah, I was listening to Ben's podcast on Spotify before waiting for this one to start. Oh, right, okay. How hard is it to become a sniper in the police? It's a tricky one. You have to have certain skills, certain natural skills. You only have the tools and stuff to judge distance, but you will be tested on that and all that. And I think I'm pretty rubbish at judging distance on that sort of thing. Although there are certain ways with your thumb and your type of how big the person is and all that. They can actually judge it. We often joke about them because they just disappear into the undergrowth and poo in a bag. And I always say, do you put, because, and that's the point, they can get into places. So say you've got a hostage situation or whatever, and it could be urban or it could be rural. And of course, when there's a lot of rural, say Scotland or you go southwest, and there's plenty of rural area, farmland, whatever. I've used rifle officers to just get into position so they can put their big sniper rifles and with their big scopes, and they can see exactly what's going on in that house, so that they can see if something is imminently deteriorating or if it's just chilled out or whether they're sleeping. I did go up to on a firearms job once. I did actually. I knew there was a 2-year-old baby upstairs. The mother had come out, and the drunk guy with a shotgun across his chest was in the house. So you're sort of looking at now with, I was operational firearms commander, so we got into that containment, and with a rifle officer, you can get from distance straight into the lounge window, and they can say he's asleep in the lounge, whereabouts. He's exactly, he's got his whiskey bottle, he's got his whiskey glass. So we've got a 2-year-old upstairs. What happens if they come down? What's the threat towards that 2-year-old? Is there any? Is it sort of a if I can't have him, nor can you type scenario, which is phenomenally more dangerous, of course. So you've got that containment, but you will, at a moment's notice, will do it what we call emergency entry, emergency search, in order to go in there and save life imminently. It would be imminent life. You try to do it through negotiation and whatever. And the trouble is, when it's catch-22. If somebody's there and they're just drinking, you think, well, we'll just wait until he falls asleep and then he'll wake up sober. But then what if he just got drunk and then went on the rampage? And then you think, okay, so now he's drinking, he's going to get worse. We'll just go in and sort him out now. And I don't mean shoot him. I mean arrest him and whatever. But then he then reacts and points his gun at an officer, and of course he's shot dead. And then the criticism would be, why did you go in then? Why didn't you leave it? So it is that catch-22 situation. And you're weighing it up with farms. I was a farms tactics advisor, so you're weighing up all the information intelligence and what's happening, feeding it back from rifle officers, and then you're feeding it back to the tactical farms commander, who are then making the decisions. It's ratified, and sort of there's an over cover of the strategic farms commander. So, but it is mainly the work is done between the farms TA and the tactical farms commander. As far as the strategic farms commander does not micromanage, doesn't tell you how to get into the house and do it. They'll just say, do not enter the house unless there is an emergency, and our task is to safely recover the baby and have no one hurt if possible, sort of thing. That's sort of the strategic. But it's good to have more brains to it, because they can sort of more brains to something. Every job is different as well. So on that one, we decided actually then to do a bit of a stealth. Back door was open. whilst the rifle officers can see the guys in the lounge and he's there, then we know that the back is clear. And so officers can then get in there, and they got between the stairs and him when he woke up, and they challenge, but they challenge in a very sort of, not a way that is, so that the protection is with the innocent child, the 2-year-old, of course. But it will be, oh, please, but then it will be, right, just calm down, nothing to worry about, all right? No one's going to be hurt, you just come in. But of course, if that rifle levels out, then there's no choice, It's not like TV where they're pointing at each other like that, I wouldn't give anyone the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to hope they won't pull the trigger before I do. You're going to get rid of the problem, aren't you? What's your favorite sport if you have one? Wow, Formula One every time. Thank you very much. Followed it since I was 20, 32 years. I watched it when Senna crashed, bless him, when all that happened, and all the things. I probably haven't missed one. Although I'm a bit of a cheapskate, I don't have Sky and I don't have all that, so I tend to watch catch up, sort of, Channel 4 and all that. But thank you very much, AC. Loving the book also. That's really kind of you. Hey, guys, I'm going to keep this short and sweet, I think. So we've done tattoos today. We've done a little bit of firearms. We've done some dogs running around in the waves. I think it's probably good if we keep it short and sweet, and then I'm able to do these more often, and once a week if we can. Any subject matter, please just give us a shout, and I can talk about it. Please, if you can, Firearms and Fatals. It is, much to my surprise, I'll be honest with you, it's a very popular book and people seem to love it. And I very much appreciate those who have shown interest in it. But I think we are where we are, aren't we? All right. So thank you very much. Stay safe this week. Enjoy yourselves. And just if you're naughty, just don't get caught. No, don't.